Yo, what it is, YouTube? It's your boy DC coming back with another bullseye of a video here today on the channel. I want to show y'all how to get brightness without any harshness. So if y'all like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Support the channel down below if you enjoy all of these gems we give out daily by grabbing a course, booking a mix, by checking out a plugin preset, a mastering preset, or a vocal preset. Do whatever the hell you want to do, but we gonna give these gems to you for the free skis, okay? So let's go over this right now. I'm gonna play the track that I got. We're gonna talk about a couple different ways to get brightness in the mix without no harshness.
It's a process everybody I go through, so don't feel like it's only just you. But one thing when me sure about, with God in your life, you make it out. So when you look up to the sky, just tell him thanks and smile. We all have in one road, but no say we now walk alone. No give up easy, just believe me and don't make them try take your soul. We all have to face the truth, but don't let it consume you. So when the pain when you feel gets hard to control, just know life full of.
Okay, so the rule number one to getting brightness in a mix is just remembering that everything can't be bright, you know? Just understanding that a mix is kind of like when it's Halloween. Trick or treat, I got some bright vocals for you to hear, to see, okay? A situation like that where not everything can be bright, because if you're giving out too much of the treats, you're going to get tricked into thinking your mix sounds good when it really don't. You feel me? Because if everything sounds bright, then nothing sounds bright. So the first technique that I love to use is understanding that not everything can be bright. And sometimes you might have a reverb, right? That might be a little bit too bright, right? And you got to understand the brightness of the actual vocal without the reverb and the reverb itself. And sometimes what I like to use is a high shelf by sometimes just going on my certain reverbs that I know are going to have an extended top end. You see, like this one, I let it reverberate all the way to like 7K and stuff like that. That's the type of situation where you're gonna have to do maybe a shelf, and this is a way to get your vocals that sound brighter because the reverb is not too bright.
Just tell him thanks and smile. We all have in one road, but no say we now walk alone. No give up easy, just believe me and don't make them try take your soul. We all have to face the truth, but don't.
So you see how just by me taking off this shelf, now the vocal sounds darker. That's because the high end of the reverb is kind of stepping in front of the high end of the actual vocal itself without the reverb. So that's a very important thing that I've been doing recently that helped me get more brightness out of my vocals without any harshness, is by just applying a low shelf to diminish the high end on the reverbs that I use. Not all the time, but a good amount.
Just tell him thanks and smile. We all have in one road, but no say we now walk alone. No give up easy, just believe me and don't make them try take your soul. We all have to face the truth, but don't make it consume you. So when the pain where you feel gets hard to control, just know life full of pure gold.
So that's a great way that I love to get my vocals to be brighter without pushing any harshness, is by diminishing that high end. I usually would start with a shelf and then I turn the reverb up the maximum way, or sometimes I might just have it at a volume and I just keep pushing it till I hear my crossover, and I pull it down as many dBs as I need. Another great way of getting bright vocals is, of course, to use the Aphex vintage oral exciter. But the most important thing to understand too is sometimes you want to remove the dynamics from that vintage exciter, because if you put it through the vintage exciter, sometimes it could get spiky. Because what the vintage exciter is doing is it's actually using expansion. Okay, this is like from back in the days, the Dolby, it used expansion and compression. So expansion can sometimes it will bring things up, okay? And that's why another plugin like Gem Dopamine is one of those plugins too, where it can bring out harshness in a vocal too. You just got to know when to use it. But most important thing is ripping off the dynamics, right? Even Gem Dopamine has that shit in it too. Let's look at that real quick. Gem Dopamine, right? Great plugin to get bright vocals, but pay attention to how even the gem dopamine, it has a compressor right there, right? Because that's a part of the sound as well, expansion and compression. So when you use Aphex Vintage Oil Exciter, remember to reduce the dynamics, remember to rip off all the dynamics, because your original lead vocal is going to be the thing that's bright and that's moving. Now you just want that stagnant high end that's just solid and bright. You feel me? So because it's solid and bright and not bright and wacky, that's going to take out the harshness.
I just tell him thanks and smile. We all have in one road, but no say we now walk alone. No give up easy, just believe me and don't make them try take your soul. We all have to face the truth, but don't. I just tell him thanks and smile. We all have in one road, but no say we now walk alone. No give up easy, just believe me and don't make them try take your soul.
So you hear that try and take your soul on the second pass, it's a little bit smoother because we've controlled that on the parallel chain. Okay, even though it's very subtle, that's a very important thing to know, is to control the dynamic before you hit the Aphex Vintage Oral Exciter, before or after, to have the stagnant high end and not the fully dynamic high end. Because when you have that fully dynamic over what was already your lead vocal, now you doubling up on the harshness, you doubling up on the transients, you doubling up on the consonants and the sharpness.
I just tell him thanks and smile. We all have in one road, but no say we now walk alone. No give up easy, just believe me and don't make them try take your soul. We all have to face the truth, but don't make it consume you. So when the pain where you feel gets hard to control, just know life full of pure gold. That's why
So hear how sometimes what people will do, they'll make the vocals really bright, right? And they'll be like, oh man, my vocals finally sound bright, but they sound thin. So that's why this is another great technique too, because you're adding high end that is solid. So understand that concept. When you try to get bright vocals that don't have no harshness, there's just two things. There's high end that is thick and there's high end that is wavy. So that's something to also be aware of. Are you getting thick high end that's solid, that's staying in the middle through something like parallel compression? Or are you getting that high end that is through expansion? Like using a plugin like the Ozone Clarity is giving wavy high end because it has an attack, it has a release, it's wavy, it's moving high end.
I just tell him thanks and smile. We all have in one road, but no say we now walk alone. No give up easy, just believe me and don't make them try take your soul. We all have to face the truth, but don't make it consume you. So
that's probably a problem that a lot of you guys might have. You don't understand the concept of stagnant high end and dynamic high end, which is like a crazy ass shit. You feel me? Like I just showed you right there. You see that this high end is moving. You see it got attack and release. It's wavy. It's going up and down on the trampoline. You see this high end moves, and then the other high end from the Aphex Vintage Oral Exciter is more steady. It's got that parallel compression clamping down on it. It's not really moving. It's thick and consistent. So those are another concepts to understand to get your high end to sound good without harshness. Which one is the right one to add for the song? Usually a slower song where somebody's singing, that's where you would want to bring the more consistent high end. You feel me? But maybe a faster song where somebody's rapping, maybe it might just be a better idea to bring faster high end that will move and not be too slow. Another great thing to do is using tape to your advantage. Okay, I was making a poll the other day. And somebody was like, I did not know that tape saturation. That's so stupid. You're going to put tape saturation over resonance? Are you going to put a tape saturation over resonance? Who told you that? I'm tired of these YouTubers saying that they know everything and that they don't really, like these YouTubers are just saying that, like you could just put tape saturation over your vocal and make it smoother. What are you talking about, bro? Like, come on, dog. Like, the videos are here. You could ask ChatGPT too, You can ask ChatGPT, it'll tell you, tape saturation is a great way to smooth off things. Okay, so boom, we got our deharsher. But also playing around with tape speed, playing around with that 30 IPS will make your vocal brighter because that 30 IPS is giving you a better high-end response. Another important thing to do is understanding bias, and this is why I like this plugin. The biasing is so easy; just you can control the bias. You can really dial in your bias. You know, a lot of tape plugins they ask you over bias or under bias. Just remember, under bias will make it brighter. Over bias will make it warmer. Let's say I want to go for a bright sound. I throw it on 30 ips, right? I throw my shit on 30 ips, right? Sometimes you could do 15 ips, and but look, most important, you throw on 30 ips, you under bias. See, that's why I would use something like this in combination with the other like fresh air, because the fresh air is gonna bring it brightness, but it's gonna make it digital. This one too. Then I would like use this. I would do it in a chain. So notice how that's a different type of high end. So that's another great way to not to get the bright vocals without the harshness is understanding there's different types of high end. There's that tape high end, which is that super smooth high end. But then there's also the fresh air type of high end, which is going to be digitally the ozone clarity type of high end. That's going to have a digital sound and it's going to move. So familiarizing yourself with all the different types of high end that you can get is what's going to make your vocals always have that perfect amount of brightness without being forced, which just sounds so organic and just natural. And the last type of way that I want to talk about how to get brightness in your vocals is taking advantage of tube plugins, specifically like the TubeTech CO1B. I like to use that on parallel, but a lot of other plugins like the LA2A will make your vocal somewhat brighter because it has the optical component and the tube output. But the CL1B, that's another great one to get brightness and using it on parallel to control how much brightness you're getting. So at that point, it really kind of just sounds like an EQ move. It's not really getting that much louder, but it's getting brighter. So that's another thing I challenge you to, think about. Next time you try to use parallel compression, don't just throw on a 76. Maybe you want to think about which one you're going to use. Oh man, what is this vocal lack? Maybe I want a little bit more brightness, but I'm not going to use no EQ. I'm going to go with a tube tech. I'm going to go with a LA2A on parallel. Just slightly tap it to bring that brightness. I'm gonna go with a certain type of compressor like a 1176 blue face mode because I know it's gonna give brightness and thickness, and that's what I'm gonna pick over something else because I know my vocal needs brightness. All right. So these are the tactics that I use to get my vocals to be bright without no harshness, without really having to push more EQ. And there comes a time where you're in the mix, you're like 80, 90% over the way, and you're like, man, fuck, the vocals got to get brighter, but I can't make them brighter. Because if I make them brighter, they're going to get harsh. They're not going to sound good. They're going to sound thin. So I got to figure out a different way that I'm going to go ahead and add that brightness. And these are the techniques that you would use that will get you over the finish line, getting your track sound pro. So if you like the video, don't forget down below, support the channel. Check the links, vocal presets that will sound great on you, mastering presets, plugin presets, and also booking a mix so I could get your tracks to sound great the way you want to do it. Hey, we're going to keep giving out these free gems. I appreciate you a lot, my YouTube gang, and I will see you next time here on the channel. Appreciate y'all now. Peace.